irresponsible child abusers are going to have free access. That's not the truth, because if they do legalize it, they're going to probably put the same stipulations they do for cigarettes. Now, if you are under 18 and you wind up getting a pack of cigarettes, then that's what happens. I had a pack of cigarettes before I was 18. So what? Because they was, cigarettes was in a machine that,
Welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody. This was
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a guest.
Yes, you're a guest. You're not in that seat over here.
Right.
You're not being a good guest.
Hold on.
I know, it's so hard.
Hold on to your seat.
Yeah, I know. When somebody had me in the co-host seat.
How hard?
So, Dana, we was just finishing up. Dana was telling us her story about being held captive for 45 days. Can you go into what
detail
happened
about some of the
45
things?
days? Yeah, some of the things that happened while you was held captive.
Rated R, rated MA.
You can rate it all.
All right.
This is McLean's couch.
You can rate it exit.
All right. Most of the things that I was made to do during the day, I had to wake up, of course, wash up, cold ass water. I got my 1 pack of noodles a day.
You was skinny as shit, wasn't you?
Yeah, I lost a lot of weight. Came back looking like Holiday Heart. I got the bike shit looking. All right. So we got to laugh. But the things that I was made to do was either they made me go to the strip club. Yeah, I'm about to put it out there. Macombos. Go check it out. And one of the people who used to work there knew the dudes who, snatched me up. So it's either I was stripping, or they used to make me go to K Street through L Street. It's a few streets away from the trans, prostitutes. Other than that, it was mostly, other than being on a hostro, it was mostly being in the house. And mostly I was in the house when it came to the street niggas. They would come in. Now, I can say on a total of one day, as far as I remember, I slept with, 25.
One day?
And
one day.
And you was only, 14?
You sound like a
14.
porn star.
14.
You remember that part in The Color Purple? Listen, it's true. I never understood it until I got older. When Suge asked Miss Silly, do you like Mr. Sleeping with you? And she said, no, why? And she said, because it feels like he's going to the bathroom on me. I never understood that.
No, he wasn't.
No, she just felt nasty having sex with him.
Oh, God.
So me being at 14 at an age where I'm supposed to be kissing boys, we supposed to be rubbing, humping and everything, I went past of learning that to actually fucking like a grown ass woman. So that messed up that growth in my life. Mm-hmm. So when I finally got to dating men, 18, 17 years old and being in relationships, I couldn't date people the same age as me because I was already far gone. Mm-hmm. Now, as far as me, I was the only girl at the time. So there were times where I can say I remember having thousands of dollars in my hand and it's just gone. What they would do with the money? They would go and party with it. Mm. So if I wasn't sleeping with somebody, I was cleaning up the house. I was watching their kids. The baby moms, I was watching their kids too. And it's not only the men who knew about this. The women in D.C. knew about this too. They didn't care as long as they had that money.
So let me ask you a question. Was you the only person in that house? Was it other females?
I was the only person in the house. They split us all up. Each of us had our own little abandoned house to live in. I remember the one time I did run back into Tierra and she said at this time they're supposed to be doing this. I guess it was one of their birthday parties. And we were both going to be at the birthday party.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
And she's supposed to basically, tell us about the job she had.
Hey, what's up? It's the man you all know and love, E. Digger.
It's your girl herself, and Nisa Maureen.
This is Mr. Showtime, D the Boss.
And the queen is in the building, Akira.
It's time for the show to start right now.
Come on now. Now? Not now, but right now.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, what's up? It's the man you don't know and love.
Hey, everybody. This is your girl, the one and only, Vic Cows. Check us out every Saturday from 5 to 7.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Black Bottom Man Radio Show. I'm your host, Brother Mike. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with us today for another exciting episode of the Black Bottom Man Radio Show. And as usual, we are here with my guest, the lovely Miss Janice. Let's welcome Miss Janice. How you doing, Miss Janice?
I'm doing well.
You doing well?
Yes. What about yourself?
I'm all right. No complaints. I'm glad to be back in the studio. You know, let's do another show.
I'm glad to be back too.
I'm glad to have you. And also my man Derek Woodson. Mr. Woodson, how you doing, brother?
I'm all right.
You all right? Well, welcome back to the Black Bottom Man Radio Show.
I definitely appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys being here. So the Black Bottom Man Radio Show is brought to you by BlackBottomMan.com, the one-stop shop for black business. We like to look at it like a black Craigslist. You know, as I tell people, Craig don't love you, we do. So if you have items for sale, you have a business, you want to place a classified ad to advertise for your business, please go to BlackBottomMan.com and place an ad so that consumers can find your business of all races. That's BlackBottomMan.com. So as I said, I'm your host, Brother Mike. I want to welcome everybody. I'm going to send out some invites and see if you guys want to tune in with us for another exciting episode. So, Miss Janice, how's your weekend?
My entire week was good.
Oh, good week, huh?
Yeah. It was a little long. Yeah, this is my first week back from vacation, so you know how.
Oh, okay. How was your vacay?
My vacay was great.
Great.
It was actually a stay vacay.
Oh, a staycation?
Yeah.
You know they call it?
They're the best ones.
Right.
They're the best ones.
They're the cheapest.
All right.
Well, it costs you much, right?
I don't know if they're the cheapest, but...
What? You don't go nowhere. You stay home.
Right, so you get to do more shopping.
Staycation. Okay, all right. Okay, so you're going to make up for it with shopping.
Right. At least when you're gone, you're not hitting the stores as much.
Okay.
You're out doing your vacation thing. But when you're home, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Mr. Woodson? How was your weekend?
Mine wasn't too bad. I took a day off, sick time.
Okay.
You know, on a Friday and strung my weekend out a little bit. So it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, okay, that's what's up. My weekend was okay as well. You know, no complaints. I did do something this weekend based off of the other shows that we did, Law of Attraction. So I did a little bit of meditating yesterday. Now, remember we talked about that on the Law of Attraction?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I did a little bit of meditating yesterday, and not really sure I know what I'm doing, but I did it anyway, and I didn't fall asleep this time, so, I was trying to calm my mind down and, think about things I wanted to do, so forth and so on. Have you guys tried any of it yet, from the Law of Attraction show?
Well, my personal opinion, I've been doing it forever. I just didn't know.
Oh, okay.
It was like Law of Attraction. So, yes, I'm still,
Meditating is still new to me.
Oh, no meditating, though.
So what you talking about you doing forever, then?
Just the Law of Attraction, like my visualization.
Willing things into your life?
Yes.
Okay.
My keeping things written down for myself. I don't necessarily have a dream board, but I do have a go-getter book that I do write in every single day.
Oh, a go-getter book.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
I need to get me one of them.
Yeah. They're excellent. So.
I like that. What about you, Mr. Woodson? Any experience with meditation?
Nah, not
Since,
really.
we discussed some things on the one show.
I had a couple of issues that kind of beat my mind up, so I kind of got beside myself, But I'll take that advice today to use that, utilize it. So.
Yeah, we all human, brother. So.
Well, I did try to use the Law of Attraction the other day too, because I was feeling like really lucky, like I was feeling real lucky. So.
What'd you do?
I tried.
Play lottery or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
She kept saying, "I'm
big
feeling
winner,
lucky."
big winner, big winner.
That's why I'm like, "What you playing lottery or something?"
Like I was trying to go for a quick, 50,000 or something.
Something not too big, not too small.
Not too big, not too small. Just to, I was trying to,
I wish you would have got it. I'm
visualize
sure you
it.
Right, definitely. By the radio show,
Like I saw it happening and everything, so I don't know. Maybe it's just something I just sent it out into the universe. So maybe eventually it'll get to me.
Come back to you. Okay, I think it will. That's what I'm hoping for with mine as well.
Okay.
Yeah, swing the mic around. Speaking to the mic. Breaker 19. All right. Well, I'm glad you guys had a good weekend. My weekend was good as well. Definitely no complaints, and we are still here. We're starting to get the cold weather now.
Yes,
so it's time to tighten up, bundle up a little bit. The cold weather moving in on us. So let's talk about today's show. What are we talking about today on the Black by the Man radio show?
Yes, I'm sure.
Well, as usual, we try to keep it constructive. You know, we try to keep constructive conversation going. So today I thought we would talk about the absence of black male teachers in the school system. Because evidently this is an issue. I haven't heard anyone speak on this. Have you guys heard anyone speak on the lack of black male teachers in the school system?
I haven't heard anybody speak on it.
Yeah, I haven't either. You know, and I did a little research and realized, you know, that maybe this is something we should have a discussion about because it is very important. You know what I mean? It is very important, and we're going to get into exactly why it is so important. Let me go ahead and send out a few more invites here. And just say hello to everybody in Facebook land and on YouTube. Tuning in with us today. We definitely appreciate you guys. You guys can call in and participate in the show at 410-702-5657. That's 410-702-5657. Feel free to call into the show. The topic is going to be the absence of black male teachers in the school system. If anybody in my audience has experience with this, or you are a black male teacher, or you know some, or you know a little bit about why we are lacking in this area, please call in, participate, text in. We'd love to hear from you guys. So yeah, evidently this is more of an issue than what we are aware of. So I thought it'd be great to bring to the forefront a little bit with the BBD radio show and kind of, you know, stimulate people's thought process in regards to this, because I think it's something that we're not really giving a lot of attention to. And I think that's why between the three of us, we really weren't that familiar with it, you know. Right. You understand what I mean? Like, you know, we haven't heard anyone say, oh yeah, here's the area that we are lacking at. So I'll read you guys a little something before we get into it. Okay, so it was a study that was conducted, right? So this study was actually done up in Boston. I'm not really sure why they picked the Boston area, but evidently it has some type of, I guess, happy medium in regards to comparison to the other school systems. So they did the study up in Boston. Okay. Okay, so it says, the challenges faced by black male teachers in schools may serve as the canary in the coal mine that begins to explain the debilitating condition faced by black boys in schools. Black males represent 1.9% of all public school teachers, yet one of the highest rates of turnover. Attempts to increase the number of black male teachers are based on research that suggests new recruits can improve black boys' schooling outcomes. Okay, so black male teachers only make up 1.9% of school teachers.
Wow. Which would probably explain the high turnover.
Well, you know, we're going to get into the turnover, and I'll tell you what they found, you know, through the research. But yeah, high turnover is definitely a part of it. So just right off the bat, before we even dive further into it, do you guys have any memories throughout your years of school of having a black male teacher?
I don't. I don't think I really started seeing black male teachers until my kids started going to school.
I had a teacher, you know, those who went to Havre de Grace during the era when I was there in the 80s. So we had a black male teacher named Mr. Dorsey. So shout out to Mr. Dorsey. Hopefully he's still alive and doing well, you know. So that was my first experience with a black male teacher. But I will say this, even at that age of elementary school, I had him in 5th grade. I did understand that a lot of us had him because we was bad kids. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't necessarily a teaching thing. It was more like discipline, right? You know what I mean? So we, you know, respected Mr. Dorsey because he was just what you had left your house from. So, you know, we left home where discipline was in full effect and then went to school and, you know, had Mr. Dorsey. And he was a great teacher. He was a great teacher. And I remember even in 5th grade that he had a special way of dealing with us. Like he related to us as, you know, black children. You know, I'm sure he probably had kids, so forth and so on. So my experiences with Mr. Dorsey, it was a great experience. He was no nonsense, didn't play around, but that's what I was used to as a kid anyway. You know, as a black child, you know, growing up under what I call black discipline. You know, it was, you know, we don't play. You know what I mean? So what about you, Derek? Any memories of a black male teacher?
Well, I had two. I had one in, like I say, a shout out to in Horse Crossroad named Mr. Cromwell. Mr. Cromwell, you still out there? He was the voice to be reckoned with. He took zero tolerance. You
right.
know, in class, you got out of line. He made sure he let you know. And I was in Horse Crossroads in Aberdeen. But then when I got to high school, he wasn't my teacher per se. But we also had Johnny Brooks. Shout out to Johnny Brooks.
Yes, yeah. I do remember Johnny. I was out of school by the time Johnny got there. But, you know, I loved that, you know, people was feeling Johnny being a teacher and have degrees. Yeah. So that's what's up. I definitely remember him. Let me give this number out.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Real quick. Somebody's hitting me about the number. 5657. So yeah, I definitely remember when cause Johnny's like that, not that much older than me, and I remember I was already out of school, you know, and I would talk to the younger folks. They was, you know, Mr. Brooks, Mr. Brooks. I'm like, that's what's up, you know what I mean? Like Johnny is Mr. Brooks. So Johnny Brooks, if you're out there listening, brother, you know we proud of you, man, and we thank you for, you know, being a brother who came back to be a black male teacher and be a representation for you know, children in general to look up to, you know, and especially black children, but children in general, because, you know, like having a black male teacher, it's not just for the black kids, because it also helps to give a proper depiction of a black male to kids from other races. You get what I'm saying? Instead of getting it off of TV, you know, and off of, you know, reality shows, like they can have a real life experience. So when you have that white child or that Asian child, you know, Mexican, Indian, or whatever, you know, they have an experience with dealing with a black man that's not going to fit the stereotype that mainstream media tries to push onto society.
That's what I was about to say. It also shows, you know, black males as educators instead of just, you know, a sports player or a rapper. It shows, you know, black males as an educator as well. You know, so that's good.
Most of the school systems, most of the time we've seen black men, he was a janitor.
Right.
Just to be honest.
Just to be honest. Yeah, they had no problem showing that.
Just to be honest. You know, sometimes people don't want to show the dark side of it. Most of the time coming up as me personally, we've seen the black as the janitor, or you've seen him in the lunchroom. You know what I'm saying? You never really seen him as that force to say, oh, I can teach these young black men and women and of different colors. So, like, you know, you can educate yourself.
That's
true that. So look, I'm looking at the comments. And I see my brother from the same mother. Big up to Big Man Productions. You know, this is my older brother, Dwayne. So Dwayne put Miss Jones from middle school. Said she just passed. So, you know, I'm definitely sorry to hear that. But, man, Dwayne, good one, bro. Like, I forgot all about Miss Jones. I know y'all might not be familiar with Miss Jones, but when I was in middle school, schools were still having home ec class.
Oh, I do remember her.
You remember Miss Jones?
I do remember.
Yes.
Oh, wow, I do remember Miss Jones.
Food. Let me tell you, I just had a button pop off a pair of shorts of mine at the end of the summer, and I sewed the button back on, right? And when I was doing it, I thought about Miss Jones, because she's who taught me that. Like, you know, like brother, I can sew to this day. I can sew something that rips. I can sew buttons back on, you know, and that came from what Miss Jones taught me in middle school. Miss Jones taught us, you know, sewing. She taught us a little bit of cooking. You know, like home ec was different things. So, yeah, that was a good call. I forgot about Miss Jones.
I did, too.
Yeah, Miss Jones was all right. And seeing again, you know, she was wasn't a black male teacher, but she was, you know, a black teacher. You understand what I mean? And, you know, she's had an impact on my life. You know what I mean? And I didn't realize that till the end of the summer when I sewed that button back on. Because that button popped off, right? And I'm like, let me sew this button on. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, you know what? Miss Jones taught me this. And I still remember it. So, yeah, that was a good one, brother. So that's my brother from the same mother. That's what's up. Big Man Productions in the building, y'all. Yeah, I forgot about Miss Jones. So let's see who else. High school, we had Miss Jackson, you know, and Havdi Grace. Miss Jackson, she was a female, though. She wasn't a male. Male teachers, yeah, other than Mr. Dorsey. Like, I didn't have none in middle school. I didn't have any in high school. Like you said, most of the representations that you got of a black man was, like, in the custodian position, right? Because I definitely remember Mr. Ware. You understand what I mean? And
Tony Wing.
And big up to Eric Richardson, big up to Money. You know what I mean? For taking over. Money. You know what I mean? You know, big up to Money. Money, thanks for keeping the back gym open for us, brother, so we balled all year. You know, so good experiences with them, but they weren't actually teachers, at least not official certified teachers, but we did learn things from Mr. Ware and from Money. You get what I'm saying? Because, you know, Eric Richardson, Money in particular, Money was a little younger. He was older than us, but he was still young enough to relate to us. So we could play around with Money, you know what I mean, in the school. Of course, he kept the tradition open of Mr. Ware having the back gym open so we could ball. So, yeah, going all the way back through the Mr. Baker day. Mr. Baker. Forgot about Mr. Baker. Now, Mr. Baker was a football coach, right? Also the girls' basketball coach, but he was also the gym coach. I forgot about him. Okay, let's go to commercial break. When we come back, we're going to finish talking about black male teachers. We'll be back, Black by the Man radio show. Stay tuned, everybody.
It's time for a flashback.
Now, I'm not gonna say all Aries don't know.
It's just the one you
Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Saturday 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com.
I was meeting with a friend yesterday, and I've gotten to the point where don't ask me a question because the truth is going to come out. And
exactly.
Just don't do it.
If you ain't looking for the truth, don't come to me.
Don't do it because I can't hold my tongue. And she wants to be this stylist, boutique, but you're not doing anything in that nature. And I can't take you seriously if you're not doing those things. And I understood why people didn't take me seriously because I found myself in somebody else's lane. I was good at what I was doing and what I wanted to be, but I wasn't doing it for me. So how can I ask you to take me seriously if I'm living in somebody else's shoes?
And nobody can do what you do. And I think that that's a big problem that people face now. Like, you see what somebody else is doing and you want to do that when that's not your lane.
That's not your lane.
That's not what you're supposed to be doing.
But it's popular. It's getting that person money. It's getting that person applause. Ooh, I want applause. I want money. Let me stand over here behind them.
And then a lot of times people aren't honest with themselves either. Like, I was thinking earlier today, I've been woke for almost 2 days, so so you get honesty, and I was thinking, like, you know,
the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
Chopped it up a little bit prior to the show. So tell us a little bit about where you from and what are you doing here this morning?
I am originally from Baltimore, Emerson Village, and I'm currently a real estate agent. I've been a real estate agent for the good portion of 2000.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my profession, that's my love, that's my life, that's everything I know.
Okay, what you love so much about real estate? Why real estate? Coming out of Baltimore, why real estate? What do you love so much about it?
Coming out of Baltimore, I guess, for me, it's just a challenge of helping those that either I know, that I don't know, that I come in contact with, that have the wrong impression of what real estate is and how they can obtain things such as a house, things of that sort. So it's a challenge there to have the opportunity to kind of change people's minds.
Okay.
And the mindset that people have about owning property or owning into real estate.
Why do you think that the mindset is such a challenge for people to actually go from renting to ownership? Why do you feel it's such a challenge for folks? Because in some cases, you pay less on a mortgage than you do renting a property.
Correct. You pay about 15% of your annual income goes to mortgage. It's about 35, 40, in some areas 45% when it comes to paying rent.
Wow, big difference.
Very big difference. You can keep a lot of money in your pocket if you just invest in owning a home. But the thing about it for people is, in a lot of ways...
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Black by the Man radio show. I'm your host, Brother Mike. We are here with the lovely Miss Janice McCaffity and my brother Derek Woodson, and we are talking about the absence of black male teachers in the school system. So, okay, I'm looking at some of the comments here.
Man, they come. Mr. Gill.
Okay. Okay, Martise. What's up, Martise?
Martise, you doing it today?
Mr. Grill is the principal as well. Okay, see, I wasn't around for that, but that's what's up. See, I didn't have no recollection of that.
Yeah, Mr. Gill. I remember Mr. Gill. He was all right, too. I forgot about Mr. Gill. He was
nice.
Stand-up dude, too.
Okay.
He was stand-up dude.
Okay, now he said Mr. James Bennett.
Yeah, for
so he was a principal?
School. Yeah, Mr. Bennett's principal in high school.
Okay, and shout out to Miss Wainwright as well. I see Shelly Ricks put that up. Miss Wainwright, we appreciate you. But we trying to go over some of the black males. Okay, so let's read Miss Carolyn Spencer's comment. Big up to Miss Beanie and my man New. So Miss Beanie says, the need is great for black male teachers to help them grow into responsible adults. Women can only teach boys so much in their growth. Very true. Mm-hmm. There used to be after-school programs, mentoring programs headed by Reverend Alfred Reed coming into the local schools for the boys to encourage a positive outlook for them. Yes, I think that is something we still need. You know, good comment, Miss Beanie. Appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
That is something we definitely need right now to this day.
Yeah, so and that's why I thought that this would be, great to kind of stimulate people's mind on some of the things that is missing. Looks like my brother put Miss Pressberry as well. Yeah, okay. I definitely remember Miss Pressberry. Now I'll tell you something on Miss Pressberry, right? Even though she was female, but like Miss Pressberry was in charge of the art program.
Yes, she was.
So when I was in middle school, we still was being taught art. And in the process, she taught us like different paintings, Picasso and Rembrandts and things like that. And then she made us draw. So like I can still draw like certain things to this very day because Miss Pressberry taught that to me. And Miss Pressberry is still alive and kicking. So big up to Miss Pressberry.
She didn't play listen, Miss Pressberry, thank you. She didn't play that with me.
She did not play. Miss Pressberry,
not at all.
She was definitely a mother figure to us while
pull you out in the hallway.
Yeah. She let you know, hey, look, I got to keep y'all in check. Okay, so it says, let's look at some of the findings from a study based on a school-based experience of 27 black male teachers in the Boston Public Schools, approximately 10% of the black male teachers in the district. So this study is one of the largest studies conducted exclusively on black male teachers and has implications for policymakers and school administrators looking to recruit and retain black male teachers. All right, so some of the findings. We'll get into some of the findings here. Early experience teachings influence decisions to become a teacher. Black male teachers describe multiple pathways into the teaching profession. About 63% of participants had an early experience of teaching in high school, college, or an after-school program as a substitute teacher, which influenced their decision to enter the school profession. So they're saying that the study showed that most black males who went on to become black male teachers had some type of experience with a black male teacher, and that's what encouraged them to want to do that. It must have some truth in it because we're sitting here remembering some of these black male teachers. I mean, what do you guys think? You think having a black child in particular be able to see a black male teacher could influence that young boy to want to say, maybe I want to be a teacher one day, if that teacher has a heavy impact in their life?
True.
I definitely believe so, because like the young boys growing up today, if they're in the classrooms seeing these male educators, yes, that can definitely have some type of influence on them wanting to be a teacher. Right, because you have to remember, like, most kids want to be what they see.
Okay.
Good point.
And if they're seeing a lot of these educators, then, that'll help them want to be it.
True, okay.
That's why, you get a lot of kids want to, play basketball or football. This is what they're seeing.
This is what they're seeing, right.
A lot of kids want to rap because this is what they're seeing. But if they're going through school, starting in elementary school, looking at these black educators, yes, that can definitely have a big influence.
Okay, I'll read a comment here. This is from Delvon Freeman. Delvon, appreciate you tuning in with us, brother. So he says, I saw a big difference when I moved to Maryland from New York, that there was definitely a shortage of black male teachers. Here, growing up in New York, I had plenty of black male teachers, which made me want to become a teacher. I don't think I had, I don't think I had one black male teacher. Right, okay. Yeah, he had plenty of them, is what he said.
Good point, Free.
Yeah, good point. So that made a difference. He was seeing this on the regular. Because, I think he's right. Like, as far as I know about Maryland, it's not anything that is a high percentage of us. But I think it could have a really good impact. Like I said, on all kids. But if we speak specifically about black kids, and when you look at the scenario that a lot of young black boys don't have a father figure around. So that black male teacher can kind of even fill that gap a little bit. He's going to learn some things from his male teacher. Yeah. And especially, if you have a black man who starts to have a personal understanding of certain children's situations, he's probably going to take a little bit more interest in them and say, listen, I want to make sure that they learn certain things and
definitely
get on a certain path. So, I agree with that. If you've seen it, it could influence you to do it. I want to give a shout out to JR. Big up to JR Clark.
Shout out to JR,
okay, so JR is one of our homeboys that went on to become a teacher. And that is wonderful, man. I love seeing JR put his posts up.
Absolutely.
And on the post he had Mr. Clark. I'm
right.
I know
yes,
that's
sir.
right.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Clark. We appreciate you, JR. JR representing for Grace. Yeah. Straight out the Grace Mob. I love it.
Shout out, man, because I watched this dude from 11. I got turned 40 this year. I've been by this dude's side since I was 11 years old.
Right.
And we had ups, downs, whatever you could possibly can imagine. This man stood amongst the trials and error and still be able to come out and accomplish this great goal.
That's right. That's right.
Shout out to you, brother.
Shout out to JR. That's what's up. So and I think that's a good thing for young black males to see. You know what I mean? A black man in a position where he's going to be teaching. You know what I mean? And guiding these people. I know I had mentioned Mr. Baker. For those from the Hartford County area familiar with Mr. Baker. Now, Mr. Baker wasn't actually a teacher, but he was the football coach, so he did teach us a lot. Then he was the basketball coach, and more importantly, he took it a step further than what a teacher actually does, because Mr. Baker provided a place for us to burn off our energy in that back gym. So when Saturday came and Sunday came, instead of us hitting the streets, we hit that back gym and was back there balling. You know what I mean? And Mr. Baker was who's behind that, so that's what's up. But let's go. Let's take another break. We're going to take another break, and we'll be back after this Black by the Man radio show. We are talking about the absence of black male teachers. Please tune in and rock with us a little bit. We'll be back. Yeah, Mr. Baker. Yeah, Mr. Baker held it down.
Just a Bit Outside radio show.
There is one glaring stat that I read about while watching the games over the weekend. New York Yankees went 22 straight innings with at least one strikeout.
Really?
That's a major league record for the postseason.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an interesting statistic.
It is, and then when you think about it, it's like, okay, that, to me, that's like a big reason why, they're losing right now.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is, because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org, because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree.
It's huge!
Is the moment I knew that for him,
you can't even see the top of that thing.
Even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Black by Demand radio show.
2 years ago. If you broke that bike and it don't work, that's on you, brother. I suggest you get that toolkit out back and then start working with it, right?
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Black by the Man radio show. I'm your host, Brother Mike. In case you missed the top of the show, we are talking about the absence of black male teachers in the school system. So we're sitting there reminiscing about teachers, and we got a call. We got a caller.
Hello.
Let's get a call on the line here. Let's see if we can speak with our
Hello.
Caller, are you there? Caller, are you there? Have we still got him? Can you hear me, caller? Oh, we lost him. All right, well, caller, try to call us back. Try to call us back. When you call back, you'll probably have to turn off your connection with the live feed, so that way we can hear you and it won't get disconnected. That's what happens sometimes. Can we get another one? Okay, we got another one. We got a fish on the line. Caller, can you hear me? Hello, caller, can you hear me? I can hear something. The number is 410-702-5657. That's 410-702-5657. This is Brother Mike. You've entered the love zone. Hey, my radio voice. Right. All right, we lost a caller. If you can't reach us through the call, just text in. But we definitely want you guys participating. All right, so caller, try to reach out to us. So yeah, the black teachers is definitely important. So we got another comment here. Sonia Jones, she says, also because the black teacher can empathize with the black struggle, they can be proactive with behavioral problems with young black kids that white teachers don't necessarily understand.
Well put.
Bingo.
Well
Perfect. That was great. She's absolutely right. Thanks for the comment, Sonia. Yeah, like a black male teacher can relate to the problems that a young black male is having, and even a young black female, you know, because when you look at the fact that most of us come up with teachers that don't look like us, but they do look like everybody else in the classroom, you know, so they have a certain level of being able to relate to, you know, the kids that they teaching. So we deserve to have that as well. So yeah, that was a great answer. But yeah, getting back to, you know, what I was saying about Mr. Baker, I said, well, I guess Mr. Baker was a teacher because he did teach the gym class. You know what I mean? Which was still just great for us. You know what I mean? Yeah, because Mr. Baker would let us ball. You know, we supposed to be doing European handball. Mr. Baker like, look, what y'all want to just hoop? Yeah, just give us the basketballs. You know, we just go ball. But yeah, but he was a great influence on our life as a football coach as well as a teacher. And then just as a mentor, you know, with these young black kids, you know, like he understood that, you know, even though, you know, we Harford County, but we in the hoods of Harford County. So when that weekend came, if it wasn't something in place for us to do, like Mr. Baker used to do, open that back gym, sometimes the front gym, and let us come down there and ball, and it wouldn't just be us. It would be the old heads and everything. You know what I mean? It's like half Degrace in there and Aberdeen balling, you know what I mean? And that kept a lot of people out of trouble. So I think that was a part of him understanding as a father figure that, you know, he can impact the way that we, you know, got down in our spare time.
And I definitely think it'll help the young black boys, the young kids, period. Like, they need mentors.
Right.
They need more mentors. We definitely need to see more male teachers in the school systems, because by the time the kids get to, like, middle school now, like, they're pretty much out of control. Like, we definitely need to see some more male figures.
Right.
In elementary school, when I was coming up.
Got another caller? We got another caller, folks.
Hello.
Let's see if we can get this one in. Caller, are you there?
Hello.
Can you hear us? If you can hear us, try turning your live feed off, and I think that will help you communicate with us.
Hello. Hello.
Caller on the line. I can't hear anything if the caller's there. You still there, caller? Holla at your boy, Brother Mike. Yeah, I think we must have lost him. Sorry, caller. I guess we're going through some technical difficulties. Okay. Yeah, we don't have anybody. Sorry. Yeah, try turning off your live feed if you guys call in, because that is what keeps disconnecting us. So let's keep moving here with some of the findings from this this study. So challenges of being the only black male teacher. Black male teachers' experience and satisfaction depended on whether they were the only black male in the school, a loner, or one of many black men in the schools, a grouper. Loners believed they were socially alone and disconnected from the core mission of the school. One participant noted, it almost felt like I was in someone else's house intruding. Schools with many black male teachers were more likely to have a black principal. Okay, so a couple things in that, right? First, the loner thing. So some of these participants were saying, listen, I felt like an outsider. You know, I was the only black teacher there, and, you know, I didn't feel like I was necessarily a part of the curriculum, the program. Felt like I was intruding in somebody's house. What do you guys think about that? You think that's, like, common, you know what I mean, with black male teachers, being that we only represent 1.9% of the teaching population? It is kind of easy to see that you could end up being a loner.
I think loneliness could be very difficult.
Right.
Because at this point, it's like everybody's watching you. Like from the parents to other teachers, like everybody's going to be watching you, keeping a close eye on you now at this point, just from being a loner. So, you know, loners they may need some mentors themselves.
Yeah, that is a challenge, because I have spoken with teachers before who have told me some stories about things they experienced being the only black male teacher, or black teacher period, you know, in the school. So I definitely believe the loner thing could be an issue, you know what I mean? Could be an issue. And that could serve as discouragement.
Absolutely.
You know, to that particular teacher. Like, am I fighting a battle? I can't win, you know what I mean?
And that's how we get those high turns.
Well, the groupers, which is a school that has a bunch of black male teachers, they saying that usually happens when there's a black principal.
Yeah.
You know, which kind of makes sense, you know what I mean? Because you'd be surprised at the number of people from other races who don't want to work for black people. You know, see, that's a level that some of us may not be familiar with, but as a business owner, I can tell you that, like, white people in particular don't take well to working for black people. So for me to see that this study is saying that, you know, when you have grouper schools and it's a bunch of black teachers, it's usually a black principal. So kind of makes sense. You get what I mean? Kind of makes sense. So let's move on. Another finding was behavior managers more than teachers. So participants in this study believed that their colleagues, particularly white females, sought their help in dealing with the misbehavior rather than their advice about teaching. Black male teachers expressed frustration that their primary interaction with colleagues was to receive assistance redirecting student misbehavior as opposed to support with teaching content. As one participant noted, I can see most people would feel enthused that they were helping out with their colleagues, like they picked me because they respect me, but it's also becoming a burden now because I have other things to do. I have to plan. I have to plan for my kids to be on a specific track, plan my scope and sequence and correct papers, just regular things that a teacher does. So they're saying, you know, like, I was a part of it, right? But I felt like they were using me as a babysitter. Right. You know, like, oh, the black kids are acting up, let's go get Derek.
Right. Yeah, you can relate to the chaos.
So they didn't feel like their colleagues were using them for teaching purposes.
Yeah,
it was making them feel more like babysitters.
Which is true. It happens. It happens.
I definitely believe that. I mean, what do you think, Ms. Janice? You think that they would look at the black male teacher and try to use him as, you know, the person who deals with the black kids when they're acting up? Like, we need a child removed from the classroom, so then they go get the black teacher. Like, can you get him?
I think they would look at him more to deal with the behavior issues versus the actual teaching. I think that's a lot of times what they see black male teachers as. Behavior assistants,
right?
Not teachers.
That's pretty much what they're saying. And I know with my experience with Mr. Dorsey definitely dealt with our behavior problems. Mr. Dorsey would literally snatch you up. Like, this is the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'd come snatch you up out the chair and just hold you up in the air, you know, just to show you. He wouldn't shake you or nothing, but he'd just hold you up like, see, you see what I'm telling you? Now, you sit down and behave yourself. Now, of course, today you catch all kinds of charges.
Yeah, absolutely.
You did that.
So now I think they have to pretty much separate it. So that can be what those after-school mentoring programs are for. Maybe they can make that for behavioral situations, and let's keep the classroom teachers to teaching.
Well, that's what they should be.
Because a lot of times you have to deal with the behavior issues in school, just taken away from the kids learning.
Right, and that's what the participants in this study was saying, that they felt like the white female teachers in particular wouldn't come to them about teaching issues, but they all come to them about behavior issues.
And that's not what they went to school for. They went to school to teach. They didn't come to school to be basically a discipliner. I come to school to give these kids, if I'm a math teacher, I'm here to teach numbers, and teach them how to learn, how to count, do certain things like that. I shouldn't be in the middle of my class. Excuse me, sir, can you step out for a minute and get John down in 109 and my class is 115. Now I got to tell my class, hold on, I'll be right back in 30 minutes. And they gain no knowledge, but this guy, I got to shake him up for 30 minutes.
Right, got to go down there and put the fear of a black father into a black child.
And the sad thing about it is that, you know, it's hard for a black man at that, because if you go down there to discipline a child who never had a father, he's going to rebel as well. Just because your skin color is black doesn't mean he's going to respect you.
Right. All right, we got another caller. Let's see if we can get a caller that can stay on the line with us. Caller, can you hear me?
Hi.
Hello, hello. Who am I speaking with?
It's Sam.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, can you still hear me?
It's kind of a bad connection.
Yeah, you got to turn off your live feed.
I did.
Okay. So go ahead with your question, caller.
No, I just wanted to say that black teachers are far and few between as far as, you know, them being in the school system. I personally remember when I had my black teacher, Mr. Ish, that every kid loved him because he could connect with the kids in a way that other male teachers couldn't. It's like the black kids look up to a teacher that experienced the same things as them and has gone through the same, you know, difficulties and stuff that they couldn't deal with at home.
Yes.
So it's definitely missing in the school system now when kids don't really have that role model to look up to.
Yes, we definitely agree with that. I think that's a major impact that black male teachers can have on black kids. You know, understanding their behavior patterns and being able to relate to it without just ruling it out like this dude's ADHD. And it's like, no, maybe he's not. Maybe he just, you know, got some other issues.
Just angry at the time.
Right. You don't know what's going on in his background.
And he's subject to him to be in a category he doesn't belong in.
Right. Okay, good comment, caller. We definitely appreciate you calling in.
Definitely.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Okay, bye-bye. Yeah, valid point, man. She definitely made a valid point.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, you know, they can relate. I mean, because that's how it was for us, you know, like, if I go back to, like, Mr. Baker, you know, because at that time, we was at an age where, you know, we was, you know, teenagers, right? So Mr. Baker would talk to us on a level that was different, you know, from just being a teacher. So he might say something to you during gym class as a teacher. Then at the end of the class, you're going back to the locker room. Then there's Mr. Baker. Harrison, come here. Come over here. And you knew it then, man.
Right.
Come in my office. Shut that door behind you. You know, he's about to say something to you that he don't want on the record, right? So we got another caller. Caller, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello. Who am I speaking with?
Hello.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
All right. Who am I speaking with?
This is Michelle.
Michelle, how you doing? Welcome to the Black by the Man radio show. Talk to us.
Okay, my thing is with the black teachers. I worked in corrections for a lot of years. A lot of children only duplicate what they see. So if all you see is somebody on a corner selling, or the image of black males is football, basketball, money, you don't have that image of a teacher. They're underpaid. They're not appreciated. So therefore, that's an occupation that's kind of like overlooked.
Yes.
You have a lot of the younger generation is looking at a money perspective or how fast they can get it. You know, they're not looking at the benefits or the impact that they can do to their society. But if you go in a lot of underprivileged areas in Baltimore and things like that, that's all they see. They see drug dealers, they see money, they see robbing, they see stealing. That's what they see. So they only duplicate what they see.
Yes, that's very true.
And what society has portrayed as an image for a black man. Society doesn't portray an image of a black man teaching. They portray football, they portray basketball, they portray us in a different light. So therefore, that's why you have less black male teachers and more drug dealers.
Yes, yeah, that is a very valid point.
And football and basketball.
Yeah, I think they like to portray us just in the reflection of entertainment.
And like I said, I worked in corrections, so we have children coming in jail as young as 13 for carjacking and armed robbery. What mentality would you have to be out there carjacking and armed robbery at 13 when you need to be home reading a book?
Yes.
So I mean, it's like, it's just the image that society has portrayed for our black men, that they are only limited to certain things.
Yes, very, very valid point. Very valid point. And I definitely appreciate you calling in, especially with your experience of working in correction. You've seen a lot of things that a lot of us probably have not seen. And that's a very valid point. And we definitely appreciate you. Thank you for calling in.
Definitely.
All right.
All right. Enjoy your day. So she made a very, very valid point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she did.
That, kids are not seeing, these black males being portrayed in the image of like being a teacher. Instead, they're growing up seeing what's in their environment. Could be drug dealers, stick-up kids, so forth and so on.
And even in elementary school, like most of the kids you have, they sit you up there and they say, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Right.
The common child's going to say a police officer,
right,
a firefighter, a doctor. Me coming a person, I've never seen a child say, I want to be a teacher.
True.
I've never seen that. True. It's always like, I want to be something that, and then as a black man coming up, as a black child, you know what I'm saying? It's far-fetched for a black man to be a police officer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's far-fetched for a black man to be a firefighter. Not saying that you can't become that.
Right.
But it's far-fetched.
It's not that popular in the hood.
Exactly.
I
So
get it.
Therefore, the drug dealer, he's the knight in shining armor. You
That's
know what I'm
popular in the
saying?
hood. That's
He's the
popular
knight in shining armor. He got this big old Lexus back in the early 90s. You know what I mean? Big rims. You know what I mean?
Right.
Got the suit on. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's a running suit for y'all, not the real suit. The running suit. But the gold. We just talking about the Kango gold.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Look, hold that thought. We're going to get into that. We're going to take a break. Black Bottom Man Radio Show. When we come back, we're going to talk about the image that our kids are seeing each and every day in the hood. Stay tuned.
You are tuned in to BeExposedRadio.com.
So we were talking about critical thinking. So we definitely believe that critical thinking is one of the first things we need to start implementing. Not just simply being told things. Or how about this? We tend to listen to people who get assigned certain positions.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So when they have certain positions, we tend to think that it's truth attached to that because of their position, right?
Right.
Is that always the case, though?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It's probably one of the biggest reasons we should be doing some critical thinking.
Yes. I agree. I definitely.
Black by Demand Radio Show.
2 years ago. If you broke that bike and it don't work, that's on you, brother. I suggest you get that toolkit out back and then start working with it, right? Yes. So my son's looking at me like, wow. And I broke down to him how we had got fixing flat tires down to a science. You know what I mean? Sticking the tube in the water. Right? Talk to me, brother. You understand what I'm saying? Critical thinking. And seeing, we look at that now and like kids, they not as on hands like we were back in the day.
That's because nowadays you don't have to put the bikes together anymore. They can come assembled.
Yeah, everything's coming assembled.
In the store, they ask you if you want it already assembled.
Right.
Back then, you just got the box with 1 million pieces.
Right, and today I don't think they could work with that.
It's just like the thought process. Nowadays, you get a bike that's already put together. Now, when you were younger, you had to put this bike together.
You got to put it together.
That basically closes your mind into learning how to do something.
Yes.
Now you're giving it something. So, okay, you take this and this is what it is.
Right.
So now we have to run with this instead of teaching the child, this is how you put this together so you see the result as this.
Right. Critical thinking. I like that. So look, not to cut you off, Miss Janice, but let's go to our first commercial break, and then we're going to come back and finish talking about critical thinking.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Be Exposed Radio.
And more money, let them know, like, you're going to get a hit if you do some rap stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. Now,
you are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Black Bottom Man Radio Show. It's your boy, Brother Mike. We are talking about the absence of black school teachers. So before the break, we had a caller, and she's actually a part of the correctional institution, and she was going over how, you know, these young black males are only being exposed to what society shows them through television, as well as what they're seeing in their environment, which is usually not positive figures when it comes to black males. What do you think we could do, like as a people, to get more of our children interested in becoming teachers? You know, other than what we talked about, which is the obvious, them seeing more black male teachers, but like, what suggestions could we take to convince students that this is a path they should take? Because like she said, people are concerned about money today. And unfortunately, everybody knows teachers' salaries are not what they should be. I'm not going to call it low or high because I'm not a teacher. I just know that there are complaints about the salary. So when you got, you know, generations coming up who are concerned about money, and then this happens to be a field that doesn't produce money, that makes the challenge a little bit tougher to get kids interested in it, because it's like, he might be thinking, man, I'm trying to be a lawyer, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be a teacher. They don't make no money. You know, like, what can we do to, you know, kind of encourage them to go in this field, even though they're not actually seeing a lot of black male teachers?
At this point, some of what we can do is bring in some speakers. You know how a lot of times when kids are graduating, you have speakers there. Maybe you can bring in some male teachers.
I think that would be a good idea.
And have them speak on it.
Right, even if they come from other schools, right? Especially if it's a school that doesn't have any black male
it don't
teachers.
matter if they come from other schools.
Right.
As long as they're able to see some successors who's been able to be successful through teaching, and they can see this, that should be able to kind of...
I think that's a wonderful idea. Great answer, because that's right along the lines with, like, if you think about a kid dealing with sports, right? And they want to recruit him. They show up.
Yeah, absolutely.
You understand what I mean? They show up and say and talk to him and say, listen, this is why you should go here. This is what I'm going to offer you. You know, as the coach, this is what I'm going to bring to the table. This is what I'm going to offer you. So yeah, you're right. That would be a good idea, even if it's a school that doesn't have a lot of black male teachers. Right. Maybe when they do assemblies and stuff like that, they can have other black male teachers from other schools come and speak. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Because we can at least start hearing. I mean, because you don't even hear about it. Like,
right.
It's like it's not even an option. Like,
right, it's like it's conversation that's just not being had amongst us. You know, like our children are not seeing people that they can relate to and be taught by.
Because, you know, a lot of times when, you know, they was like, I want to be a police officer. Remember, they boarding officer friendly a lot.
Yeah,
they board officer friendly and stand there in front of the classroom to talk to folks.
Right.
So most kids, when they was like, I want to be a police officer, you know, that could be why. So yes, if you board in some teachers and had them speak to the kids, then
And the thing about the money situation is, it's like when you become something and you like, you know, you have a love for it. You know, if you become a mechanic, you have the love for working on cars. If you become a teacher, you have the love for it. But then you got 30 kids in there giving you the blues all day, and then you looking at your paycheck on Friday like, man, look, you know,
it's getting a little challenging,
you know what I mean?
right?
My love for teaching is, you know, if you could teach one, you know, you could teach the mass.
Right.
You know, when one child listens, okay, this is my focus. I'm going to teach him no matter what.
Right.
That check on Friday, it ain't cutting it.
Yeah,
but this wealth, and the wealth comes in learning.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if I can teach this one child, that was the worth that I got out of it. But nowadays, the teacher's like, man, I'm not getting paid enough.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not worth it.
And that's what she was saying, you know what I mean? That because the pay isn't right, and then of all the challenges that are presented, because unfortunately, it's a lot of us today that are not raising our children according to the black rules.
You get the bell on that, brother? Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Just trying to
I appreciate it, because it's the truth. We're teaching our kids how to be, and excuse my French, I don't want to disclaim any woman, any man, or nothing. We're teaching our children to be twerkers and excuse my French, again, hood rats and all this other stuff, and drug dealers. And at the end of the day, when your child gets locked up or he gets taken away, he gets murdered in the street, then you're standing there in the pew at church saying that, oh, wow, my son.
Right.
What values did it instill in him to make him not to go to the drugs, to the streets or whatever?
True.
So you got to blame yourself at the end of the day.
Got to take some type of responsibility. And like you said, the kids today are much more difficult to deal with than when we was young. Like, no teacher, when I was a kid in school, had ever had to have the concern of me kicking their ass.
At all.
That's not a concern that they had. You know what I mean? They never thought, I mean, be careful, this boy might try to bust me up. No. Like, the most you could get from us was just, you know.
Slick comment under your breath.
Little comment, mumbling under your breath. And you got in trouble for that. But, like, today, like, they're literally facing, these kids will beat you up.
Punch, I mean, it's ridiculous.
They beat you up. Ridiculous. And, but I like Janice's point about, you know, having male teachers
absolutely
come to speak point. Because you're right, they did it with the police. They have the police come there. They have the firefighters come there.
And stuff like that, but never a teacher on it. So, well, this is my colleague right here. He could bring some a little bit of force to this teaching, to this curriculum, and it's never happened that way. That was a very good point.
I always, I used to be offended with McGruff the crime dog.
Absolutely.
You know absolutely. Like, why we always getting shown McGruff the crime dog? It was almost like they was letting the black kids know, like, yeah, I'm McGruff the crime dog.
Yeah.
I'll come get y'all. You know what I mean? Stay out of trouble. But yeah.
And you can still grow a lot in being an educator. I know a lot of times they may say that it doesn't pay enough. But if you think about it, like, there are plenty of positions out here that people are doing that still underpaid. So
right.
A teacher, I mean, I understand a teacher's salary may not be much, but it's not the only underpaid, you know, career.
No, it's not. It's not. So but it is a terrible one, though.
It is a terrible one, but hopefully, you know, it's still, you know, won't, you know, deter people away from.
Yeah, because I think I don't know the numbers on the salary of teachers, but I know it's a complaint.
It's just terrible.
Yeah, I know it's a complaint, and definitely something needs to be done about that. Because as much as people may have the right type of mindset, the right type of heart where they want to give back and teach, they gotta pay bills.
I don't think it's much. I don't.
Yeah, they still gotta pay bills.
It's a two-way street. You know, people fail to realize the parent-teacher conference, man, is very needed. And at the end of the day, that's where the teacher can go to the parent like, look, my job is here. Now your job is there. We have to meet in the middle to where you're disciplining home and I'm teaching here.
Right.
If you don't discipline home, he's not going to learn here.
Right.
Because he comes from home with an attitude with me because of discomfort in his own home. That's not my problem.
Right.
My problem is to teach you what is here for the tools out in the world. Now you got to get them ready to come here. If you don't get them ready, this is a waste of time.
Got to get them prepared to learn.
And that's why they're upset. Like, look, this $500 I'm getting every week, man. Look.
Right.
And I definitely understand that from the teacher's point of view, because you definitely have to get them ready at home. Get them prepared at home to come to school.
Well, you know, there was a good video on Facebook. I can't remember the brother's name, but this brother is some type of instructor, teacher, motivational speaker, or something like that. But he went back to his high school where he came from. Now, as an adult, he's off in the real world doing this. Like
I think I've seen it.
Yeah, you seen that video where they paying him. So when he was at his old high school, he was there trying to talk to the black kids, and they, you know, were getting offended. We gotta go to break. I tell you, I'll tell the story when we come back from break. Okay. We gotta take a break, and I'll tell you guys a story about this. All right, let's go to the next break. But yeah, the video was.
Check out this snippet from the new season of Talk Lately with Monty about Jennifer Holliday.
Anyway, let's get back to
yeah, well, what I wanted to say is that I can understand 100% where Jennifer Holliday is coming from, and that's sort of kind of where my 20% came from. When I basically came out and said who I voted for, I received a lot of backlash. Even on my own talk show, which comes on every Monday from 5 to 7 p.m., I was called a coon. Okay, yeah, shout out for the plug. But yeah, someone actually, you know, they told CJ Bernie that I was a coon, and that really hurt me. I've been called everything from a fat whatever and everything, but someone actually commented on his Facebook.
I didn't even say that. That's kind of rough.
Called me a coon, but it's coon. Like I like you. It's crazy because I just feel like someone like Jennifer Holliday. I understand why she stepped down, but I'm kind of upset with her because I think she still should have performed. You know, if you want to jump out there, then stand in your truth. Don't let no one stop you or change your mind about anything. Listen, no one put a gun to her head and made her sign on for that. But it just seems like, you know, she was basically, she was bullied.
But see, the thing about it is they will put a gun to her head to not do it.
I don't think so.
Well, that's what the threat says. You gotta say, it's why it's called a threat. You don't know the hypotheticals in there that could happen to you.
Why do you think
she's not a well-known singer, so she's not going around with security. Since she goes to get her tracks at the mall,
right?
Pow!
Right, but at the same time,
we got a whole bunch of dead cats.
Yeah, but like what she said in the footage, you know, today on The View was basically it's not white people who was threatening her. It was
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
A minute.
Okay.
Sorry, your dad's on, bro.
All right, we're back, everybody. So the story I was going to tell was actually about a particular brother who he's some type of motivational speaker or educator, but he went to the school where he went to school at. And he does this in life. People pay him to do this. But he came back to his school to do it for his people. Oh, wow. And he did it for free. And the whole time that he was trying to teach, all the black kids in the auditorium were being disrespectful. They were being loud. They weren't paying attention. And it reached a point where, you know, he got frustrated. You know, it was like, listen, I don't have to be here. You know, like, I'm doing this for y'all for free. Right? When I go to the Asian schools, they pay me to come deliver this speech. When I go to the Jewish schools, they pay me to deliver this speech. Right? And they listen. They sit quietly and they listen. I'm here giving this to y'all, giving y'all these nuggets. What Jay-Z say? $1 million worth of game for $10, right? Mm-hmm. You understand me? I'm giving y'all this game, and y'all so disrespectful that y'all sitting in the audience making noise, laughing, giggling. And he was like, can't y'all see this is the problem? Nobody out here loves y'all. I'm here because I love y'all, and I'm doing something for free that other races pay me to do, and y'all sitting here being disrespectful. You know what I mean? Not recognizing that I'm trying to give you knowledge to help you become something in life, and y'all can't even take a half hour out of your giggling session and sit here quietly and listen to what I have to say. Like, I was so impressed the way the brother, like, he stepped to that whole crowd. Oh, they got quiet after that. See, they heard a black man step up with these black kids.
With no fear.
With no fear. Like, I tell you what, he was, you know, and when he told them, listen, the rapper that was here the night before that all y'all went out to go see, he didn't stay here for 5 minutes after that show was over. Paid top dollar. Paid top dollar. He bounced and left. He didn't say nothing to y'all about trying to improve you, give you life skills or any of that. And all y'all fell out there and went to that concert and paid your money, and you get nothing from it but the same thing you got on watching YouTube. But here I am giving you science, dropping knowledge, and y'all want to sit out here and be disrespectful and laugh and giggle and cackle. So it reminded me of what you were saying, that we are lacking somewhere with disciplining our children at home like we used to when I was younger, because now they can't even sit still long enough to hear some knowledge that somebody's bringing to them. And that starts at home, man. These kids are super disrespectful.
It's a comment, if you don't mind me reading it.
Yeah, go ahead and read it.
From Valerie Williamson. She said, annual pay can be $25K to $30K a year. That's not much for what they have to do. Oftentimes, they even purchase their own supplies.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. That's crazy. That's crazy. And to me, that shows you that the powers that be really don't care about the education of children. Wow. I mean, you making teachers buy their own school supplies, like, really? You know what I mean? And it's bad enough that I remember even when my son was young, they had already pulled the art program. So my son didn't come up with art class like I did. He didn't have Miss Pressberry.
Which right? I loved.
Right. We loved Miss Pressberry.
Home Ec and all that. Miss
Home Ec, right? And also, we had wood shop and metal shop. Yeah. We had wood, and that was in middle school. We had wood shop and metal. Mr. Blomquist and then Mr. Cleek.
Yeah. Right? Hey, Mr. Blomquist is still alive out there, man. You stole my duck, man. I'm still upset about that. Mine's is better than yours. Mine's is better than yours, Mr. Blomquist. Mine's is better than yours.
Build that nice stuff, and you know, as poor black kids, we ain't got no way of getting it home.
Yeah, man.
White teacher there, like, I'll just keep it for you.
I had a golden eye, man. I was the best body out there. I want to say that.
All right, so let's look at the next finding. It says black male teachers are more likely to leave lower performing schools. So during the interviews, teachers were asked about their decision to stay or leave. Then, at the start of the next academic year, teachers were briefly interviewed to determine if they stayed or moved to another school. Loners were actually the ones who decided to stay. The loners, right? And the loners highlighted positive working conditions, specifically the positive school environment and students, as the two primary factors that influenced their decision to remain at the schools. One loner who described experiencing racial harassment by both his administrator and his colleagues noted, "I enjoy my job, but conceded. I suspect I'm going to have some sort of challenges no matter where I go because I'm a black male."
Wow.
So the grouper schools with many black male teachers often moved on. That's interesting. The groupers cited poor working conditions as their reasons for leaving. They also suggested that many of their colleagues across the racial groups intended to leave because of the poor working conditions. One of the participants who resigned at the end of the academic year recounted how, after he collected all cellular phones from the students before the MCAS, another administrator stopped and frisked the students while they were taking the exam. The participant decreed, this is microism, of what it's like to go to school here, and this isn't a prison. We treat our kids like they're criminals. And he said he's just done with it. So that was one of the reasons the groupers left. He didn't want to be a part of a school that had to have metal detectors and search people and all that. And that could scare somebody away. You know what I mean? That could scare a teacher away. Now, if you happen to be a brother who from the hood, so you can handle that. You understand what I mean? Yeah, you can handle that. Matter of fact, you be there setting up the metal detector.
Because crime is crime. You know what I'm saying? Crime is crime. Coming from a neighborhood where
you checking the batteries on it. The battery's good in this.
Because you know, like people, it's nothing wrong with being friendly, man. But crime is crime, and reality is reality. You know what I'm saying? It can go down where we come from.
It can go down. Black people ain't got no problem hurting black people. That's never been an issue for us. So it says, finally, there were 2 teachers, both groupers, who were exited from their schools. In particular, one participant at an exam school explained that he was dismissed because of his colleagues' inferiority complexes, right? Oh. With undergraduate and graduate degrees from 2 of the country's most prestigious institutions and a teacher of the core subject in STEM, which is what you had mentioned before, the participant described how a fellow colleague suggested he was too polished, too well-rounded, and couldn't understand why I was teaching. Wow. So this dude's saying, his credentials are so good, they like, why are you even a teacher? Which is horrible for another teacher to say to you.
Overqualified.
Overqualified. How many times have we heard that?
But that's, and that's what I was going to say about the loners and the groupers. The loners, some of them might, say they'll stay. Because with loners, you don't have a lot of other people around you to get feedback from. So you're pretty much going to go on your own experiences with it. Mm-hmm. With groupers, you're getting feedback from all the other ones. And that can deter you away right there just from what they're thinking.
True.
Not even what you're feeling, just from hearing a lot of feedback like, oh, I'm out of here. Like, I'm not putting up with this and so forth and so on. So.
And it seems like the loner would probably be thinking like, they want me to quit. And I'm not going to. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to give up on these kids.
Especially on the road that he has taken to get there.
To get there, right.
Mm-hmm. The kicks and bumps and bruises, you can't make it. Why you want to be a teacher anyway? What you going to make out of this?
Right,
I'm over here getting this money out here. You might as well come on the street with me.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when I look at it from that perspective, I guess I can kind of see why the loner would stay versus the grouper who's around. It's a bunch of male teachers around. So that person's probably like, look, they don't need me. They got 6 other teachers here. I'm going to teach you C Milk right.
Get a couple of dollars and get some respect somewhere.
I'm out of here. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. But that's terrible, to have to deal with, racial situations from the colleagues. And I know it's true. I'll air out of school in Hartford County right now. When my son was young, he went to Ring Factory Elementary School up in Bel Air. And there was a particular female black teacher there. And she told me out her own mouth. She said, do you know that one day during my planning period, she said, I was in my room during my planning period. She said, and like 6 of the white female teachers walked into the room and circled around her and basically told her, listen, don't think you coming here and changing how we get down. This is our school, and you're going to adapt to the way that we want you to be in the school. You ain't going to be here. I said, good grief. She said, I'll tell you the truth. She said, I'll tell you no lie. She said, and they literally came at me like that. And when I resisted it, they started giving me the blues, giving me problems and stuff. So when I see a study talk about, that these teachers experience, racism and stuff coming from their colleagues, like, I believe that plays a part. You know what I mean? Because that's going to discourage. It's bad enough that he the only person there, only black person there, and then they looking at you like you're supposed to be the savior of all the black kids. And then at the same time bringing, this racism towards you. You know what
Knowledge, man. When you have a person come in there with a curriculum and say, okay, we're actually going to teach these kids.
Right.
And so therefore, we're giving you the base, okay, Christopher Columbus, he found America. We're going to stick with that. We're going to ride this horse to the, you know what I mean, to the
stick
sunset.
with that lie.
And here's this man coming in and said, look, he didn't do it.
He didn't do it.
Here's the truth right here. And here's the basis of what we're going to learn here today. We're going to take these textbooks. We're going to drop them in the trash where they're supposed to be.
Right.
And here's my proof, my knowledge of what you're going to learn today. We're going to get something that's good and it's beneficial so you can learn something in life.
Yeah, because I think a black male teacher would naturally tweak any areas that he could in that curriculum.
Absolutely.
Because he's going to know, you know, what's true and what's not true. But I've seen a report one time, and I found this interesting, and it was with black male teachers. And this one particular teacher, because he was a younger teacher, he was only like 27, 28 himself, right? So this dude still listened to hip-hop, you understand what I mean, things like that. And he started using like hip-hop and songs and stuff to teach the black kids. So whatever he wanted them to learn, he would make up a little hip-hop song with it, you know what I mean? First you add the X over top of the Y, then you carry the 2, this is what we gonna do. You understand what I mean?
Fun for
yeah,
him.
he made it fun for him. And like the school that he was in was like a low-rated school, you know what I mean? All the kids in there were already doomed, they're not gonna make it, so forth and so on. And he started turning things around, and these young black kids started excelling and doing better. You know, in the video, they show him in the video, he's dancing with them while he's writing stuff on the board, and he called one of them up, and they come up and do their little dance, you know, and then write the answer, you know what I mean? You know, and I was just looking like, see, that's what people don't understand. Like, the curriculum that's put in place is based on a Eurocentric model of teaching. It doesn't mean that that's how we taught our kids. You understand what I mean? Because, like, as black people, music played a major part. I know when we was younger, you know, like when you had to get up on the weekend and do your chores, they turned that music on. That's how you knew it was time to get up.
Right.
You hear that music pumping, like, oh man, we gotta get ready to get up and clean the house.
Oh, my
you
God.
know, but that rhythm kept you going because we are, you know, rhythmic people.
And
so I think that plays a part.
And we need some good things like that in elementary school, because they need to start from elementary school with this, so that by the time the kids get to middle school and high school, they motivated,
Right.
you know, to continue to learn.
So what do you think we can do to get people more interested in becoming teachers? I mean, it's got some recommendations here. I'm going to go over them, but I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, you know, what can we do to influence kids to want to be teachers, knowing the obstacles that they're going to face in regards to money, in regards to, you know, where they're going to be put at, so forth and so on. So I'll read another comment. So this is Miss Carolyn Spencer again. She says there are Job Corps training programs available to tap into helping young boys to mature when the structure of the school is not sufficient. Very true. The ideal of educators speaking at our local schools will help encourage the teaching profession to build up what we lack. Coppin State is a teaching college. Maybe a few might help out. Okay. Nice, Miss Beanie. That's what's up. Yeah, that would be something to look into. You know, I didn't know Coppin was a teaching school. But yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. You know, like Job Corps, when we was young, there were dudes who went to Job Corps and got something out of it. And there were dudes who didn't, you know, but, you know, you're going to have that and everything. But what I specifically remember about Job Corps, like with us being kids, and there was certain dudes who just was in trouble all the time. When they went to Job Corps, they might disappear for a year. But then when the dude came back, he'd have his GED.
Yeah.
He'd have his license. You understand what I'm saying? And like already took like one college course or something. So, you know, Job Corps, I guess, you know, played his part and can still play his part.
That was the NYC era in our day where we thought that, shout out to Miss Beanie for the NYC, where most of us thought we wanted to go because we thought it was fun. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of us clicked up, you know. And shout out to Aaron Smith to staying the whole 6 months, getting his GED, getting his license and stuff like that. And he actually accomplished something.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. I remember when Monk did that. You understand what I mean? I remember that because it was some others that didn't make it. But we ain't going to go there.
Right. Let that one slide.
All right, my man Jay Capone the barber. Jay, what's good, brother? Jay's been on the show with us before, so I'm going to read Jay's comment. Jay says they set up our children to fail by sticking them in IEP programs, and even if they don't pass or on a grade level, they push them ahead instead of really teaching them to get the money off the state. You know, which is true. Are you guys familiar with the IEP program? Yeah, when my son was younger, I'll tell my story with this, right? So my son was in IEP for his spelling and for his math, right? Now, he's started getting, you know, like A's on everything, right? So when we went to one of the final meetings, they had a new guidance counselor. So we're in there 30 seconds talking. And long story short, I was like, when is he coming out of this? Because he's getting everything right. He's getting A's. Like, this is not challenging no more. Oh man, they had all kinds of excuses. Like, oh well, you know, the words that he's doing on the spelling, yeah, he's getting them all right, but they're putting them in certain orders from him. So they're putting conjunction with caution and mission. So all the shit. I'm like, listen, if he knows how to spell a word, it's not gonna matter what the word is before it or below it. Like, you know, stop running game on me. Right. And then come to find out that where he was at in his IEP class, right, was actually ahead of the regular class. So the guidance counselor was with me and was like, no, I'm with you, Mr. Harrison. It's time for him to go back to a regular class. The principal and the vice principal was trying to fight against it. Like, well, we don't want to, you know, just shock him by putting him back in there and he's not ready for the level that they're at. And then come to find out he was 2 levels ahead of them through the IEP. You know, so the message for me was this. When the black kids have trouble with the schooling, they put them in special ed classes, IEP. When the white kids have a problem with it, they slow the whole class down. You get what I'm saying? So instead of saying these white kids ain't catching it, they just slow the whole class down, and now everybody's on the same page. But then here's the black kid who's supposed to be in special education, and they 2 stories ahead of the regular class. So that was a problem for me right then and there. But let's go to break, and we'll finish talking about this when we come back from the break. It's the Black by the Man radio show. I'm your boy, Brother Mike. Stay tuned. Yeah, it was hard.
Check out this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show on BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live on BeExposedRadio.com. In the building, we have live Mr. Michael Ryder. There we go. And Mr. Steve Yarn. They're doing a partnership based on what was it again? The stories of the Vulcan Blazers. An awesome production that they have coming up. And now the name of it will be called Baltimore Heat. There we go. They were telling us a little bit about, they're in the pre-production phase of developing this Baltimore-based production. It seems like a really awesome idea. I always love for more artistic events to come here, and because it's more of an event because you guys are going to actually use Baltimore as your complete backdrop of the city, and that's very awesome to hear.
Yeah, we want people to fall in love with this project through the visions and the tales we're going to tell about these firefighters, but also we want them to fall in love with the city of Baltimore. Just like they did with Miami Vice and Chicago Fire and NYPD Blue and
Sex in the City.
Sex in the City and all these other places that have the city as a star as much as the artists and the actors are.
And
that's
Baltimore
what
has for many years have been the backdrops of many movies. I could think of a few Whoopi Goldberg movies, Sleepless in Seattle. A lot of these movies that have always used Baltimore as a scene. Not to mention The Wire and Homicide and countless other movies, House of Cards. All these movies and television shows that have always used it, but it was never really about Baltimore. They always included Baltimore in the story or the backdrops or certain historical scenery,
things they absolutely needed to say.
And, but and House of Cards actually shoots in Baltimore. But they're saying that it's Washington, D.C.
Right.
Yeah. So they're shooting here and not even giving us credit for the place over here.
The Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com.
Be Exposed Radio.
Let me do that.
There's certain things for everybody.
Yeah, like,
you know what I mean?
There's a time and a place for everything. Maybe if I'm sitting down reading a book and then I'm like, all right, cool, let me throw this Lupe on, get this real lyrical going on, and maybe I see a whole nother side of something. But if I'm sitting down with a bottle, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it. Like, you might turn on the right Lupe song, you feel me? And because I'm drunk, I'm going to get lit for it. But, yeah, for the most part.
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Shepsworth Bentley. And make sure you guys check out Homegrown Radio every Sunday, 7 to 8 p.m. right here on BeExposedRadio.com. It's new, fresh, Baltimore radio.
Exposed Radio.
Well, if you made them, take care of them.
Yeah, that's the real. That's the real deal.
It's period.
And all that old money shouldn't go toward this, money should go to. If the child is with one of the parents, 24/7, 7 days a week. You don't even come get your child every day. You come get your child once a month maybe, or once every 3 months.
Right.
You cannot dictate where that money goes, especially if the child ain't calling you about nothing. Now, if the child calling you every week, then you can question about where the child support is going. But if every time you pick up the child, they look nice.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, all right. Let's get it popping. All right, all right. So we are back. Welcome back to the Black by Demand radio show with your boy, Brother Mike. We are talking about the absence of black male teachers today. So let's get into some of these recommendations that they came up with. We went over the findings, and the findings basically is letting us know that it's a need here that's not being fulfilled. So recommendations. Target black male high school students to enter the teaching profession. Policymakers and district officials looking to increase the pipeline of black male teachers should consider opportunities for black boys and young men in BPS to experience teaching. Such opportunities might include targeting and training a select group of black male high school juniors and seniors to enter the teaching pipeline. Okay, so they're saying, you know, we need to get some policies, some movers and shakers involved with actually trying to increase this, which the way I'm taking it is they're letting us know it's not just solely our responsibility. It's actually people in place who's supposed to be helping this come to pass.
Right, because the same way they come talk to you about the Air Force and the Army, they could be coming out talking to you about teaching as well.
You on fire today. You is on fire. They damn sure enough show up and talk to you about the Army and being a cop and being a fireman, you know, so why not show up and talk about being teachers? I like it. I like it. So let's look at a comment here, right? Let's see what BJ Hines, brother, I appreciate you participating with us. He says homeschool after school programs or summer programs, because the school system curriculum is preset just the way they teaching them, it makes no sense. I found out Baltimore is the 4th highest funded school in the U.S., but kids can't even read on the 5th grade level in high school. Wow. Yeah, I did not know that. Thank you, BJ.
Appreciate that, BJ.
I think, yes, statistics shows like some of them can't, past 4th grade. Right.
Yeah, and see, and that's not good. And I'm sure that's being, you know, concentrated into our schools, because I'll go down the rabbit hole a little bit here, right? One of the, you know, I like to say Jedi mind tricks, right? One of the Jedi mind tricks is this. When it comes to black schools, you know, the powers that be don't put no effort into making sure black schools have the proper everything. Teachers, supplies, condition of the school, so forth and so on. So they make sure that these black schools don't have it, right? And they also make sure that they're not having the proper teachers, so forth and so on. So they're not putting effort into making sure the black community has that level of education. And then at the same time, the results of it, they then look and say, see, y'all just don't want to do right. You know, y'all dumb. You know, we beating y'all on the test and all that. And it's like, but you're not, you know what I'm saying? You're not putting the same, you know, monies into our communities that you do to other communities. So I'm going to read Sonia Jones's comment. She says, all teachers should have to go through cultural competency training programs so that they are aware of their own personal and institutional biases and enable them to understand the different lifestyles of the children they serve. That way they can immerse themselves in the community that they save. Oh, absolutely. That would be lovely. You know what I mean? Because again, when we go back to what I was saying earlier, which is a black male teacher is not just needed for the black kids. It's also needed for the kids of other races to have a proper image of a black male other than the image that's being provided to them through television and media. You know, so if you have that white kid, that Asian kid, you know what I mean, that Indian kid who can say, no, I had a black teacher, you know what I mean? Like Mr. Woodson was good to us, you know what I mean? Right. You know, so they can go into this world and now understand that black people are not what these powers to be. Stereotype. Yeah, stereotyping making us out to be. So I think it helps everybody, because when you look at racism and stereotypes and things like that, it's chock full of ignorance on all sides. Right. You get what I'm saying? Like, you know, if you look at a white person who feels a certain way about black people, somebody fed them that.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? Like, they wasn't born with that mentality. Somebody fed them some nonsense to make them say, I don't like black people.
You know, it's not hereditary where you're born and raised.
Yeah, you're not born with it. You're not born with it. Okay, so another one of the findings, the recommendations is design professional development targeted for black male teachers. I like that. To increase black male teacher retention, district officials should concentrate on improving these teachers' experiences in the schools in which they teach. The district's current initiative, the Male Educators of Color Executive Coaching Seminar Series, which was modeled after the Boston Teacher Residency Male Educator of Color Networking Group. Jeez, boy, that's some long titles. Could be bolstered with specific attention to providing socio-emotional support to male teachers of color and a space to reflect on their practice. Okay, I like that because it's you know, the socio-emotional support for the male teachers. I think that's important because nobody knows what they're going through. Do you get what I'm saying? Like when you already ain't amongst, you know, plentiful, I should say.
Right.
And then you dealing with things. Like who does that person talk to?
I said that earlier. I agree with that. Mentors for the mentors.
Right. You know, it's got to be somebody that they can sit down and say, listen, man, you know, this is what I'm dealing with. You know, I'm trying to educate. I'm trying to, you know, do right. But here's the obstacles that keep coming up. So I like that. And I'm not familiar with these programs, Male Educators of Color Executive Coaching Seminar Series. Not familiar with it, but it sounds like it's something that's probably more directed towards us because then it says it's modeled after the Boston Teacher Residency Male Educator of Color Networking Group. So evidently these things are in place and something's been created on our behalf. But yeah, we definitely got to figure out a way to target these, you know, young black males and make them be interested in becoming teachers and understanding the importance of that as far as the community, you know, that we need it.
Starts with the parents.
Yeah, the parents definitely got to make the kids teachable, right?
It starts with the parents because you can, you know, I notice nowadays on the social media, you know, the kids got the freshest clothes on, the freshest outfits and the shoes and everything else, and they come to school to play around.
True.
I never see the parent go out and spend $200 on a nice book bag to hold 5, 6, 7 books.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Or modern day pens and pencils and papers where, you know, you can recycle the lead, or you have a pen that doesn't break. You know, something that has value to learn when you go to school, but they spend $200, $300 for a pair of shoes.
Right, right. So something's wrong right there.
And getting a Dollar General binder. I'm just telling the truth, you know what I'm saying?
That's why I'm laughing, because we all know those situations,
you know what I mean?
right?
Girl, you know, you get 20 binders down there for $15.
Right,
really?
right,
but
right.
You sitting in the mall getting $150 pair of shoes.
So we play a part. There's a part in it that we have to play and make some corrections to get them interested in becoming, you know, male teachers. I'm trying to think if there's like one thing I could pinpoint that we could like start doing, you know, like soon. You know what I mean? Like, you know, what could we do to encourage kids to say, you know, you should consider being a teacher, especially with the obstacles of the money and, you know, things of that nature.
Do they still have career day in schools?
I don't know.
With you know, the parents used to come to the schools and talk to the kids.
They still have it, but again, most of the parents don't show up.
Yeah, that's true.
Because,
that is very true, man.
Because that's, I mean, we could start getting them in elementary school. Like, if they start hearing these educators come out speaking to them, like they get it at an early age, they can start hearing about it early versus waiting until they get to high school and then hear like, oh no, teachers don't make no money. Like, that's all they hear about.
You know,
at this point.
I think the platform could start with us, especially with you, Mike. Maybe down the road sometimes you can pass a card out to a couple hospitals that we went to.
Right.
Like the brother did himself. And you can stand up there, look, this is where I came from.
Right, yeah.
If anybody can show you the road, I can show it to you.
I can definitely show them the road.
You know what I'm saying? So it might be one small step for us to get out there and say, okay, and next time maybe JR comes up here, maybe we can use him in the platform.
Yeah. I'd love to get JR on the show for this.
Yeah,
you know
for a platform. So shout out to JR, man. When you come up here, man.
Come through, BBDJ. You know how we do, son. You know, back in the day. Come on through, man. Be on the show with us and chop it up. Because JR's a teacher. He'd be a good representation of what we're discussing today. Yeah, I definitely think we gotta figure out some things to get these kids interested in teaching, you know, but with us not having a lot of black male teachers, that's a challenge because like you don't even know who to even bring to the forefront to say, listen, you know, to this person speak about being a teacher. But it's highly important because, again, you know, we have to not let the education of our children just be solely based on someone else's curriculum. Like, absolutely. You know, like we got to teach our kids the things that we feel that they need to know. And I think we got to take, you know, school like more serious. Mm-hmm. So here's a question that I have, right? What about, you know, like when you have a black child, right, mm-hmm. in a black family, and the child seems to demonstrate something that's a little outside the scope of what would be normal. So instead of your son, you know, wanting to sign up for recreation football, you know, he wants to go to the science fair. You understand what I mean? Instead of wanting to play basketball that year, you know, he wants to go to the Inventors Commission. You know, he wants to go to Comic-Con. Are we guilty of straying our children away from the things they have an interest in? Because, you know, a lot of black people will force you down the football road. Yeah, they force you down the basketball road. Mm-hmm.
I had this conversation with my son's mother, and I explained to her, I said, you know, if he doesn't want to play basketball, he don't have to.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
If he doesn't want to play football, he doesn't have to. But education is going to be done whether he likes it or not.
Right.
Because I'm not going to have you out there being ignorant to what life is going to give you, because eventually you have to become a man. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to have wasted my time allowing you to be ignorant because you want to push a football up the field, or you want to make a jump shot, or you want to kick a couple rhymes.
Right. You
got to have some sort of sense of directions in order to be, you know, in this society. Because if you don't, you're going to feel like I remember watching some of the basketball players give an interview. Man, they sound terrible. They can't even hold a conversation. And then when the commentator says a word, they're like, because they can't relate to the word. They don't know what it means.
Right.
So therefore, you wasted your time. And I blame the school system as well, because you're pushing these kids through because they can push a ball or they can shoot a jumper. Right. But you're putting education on the back burner.
Right, yeah.
So with my son, like I'm telling you, this on this radio show, and I hope he hears it years later.
Right.
If you don't, my foot's on you.
On you. Straight like that. On you.
I ain't got time for it, man.
I had a similar experience as well with my son. Okay. When my son was coming up in elementary school, my son played the violin. Wow. Nice. And his father was always like, you have my son playing the violin? We don't play violin. We play basketball. And like he wants to play the violin.
Right.
He's going to play the violin.
And that's what I mean.
Out.
Are we not exploring when the kids don't come out to meet the normal things that happens to go down with black kids? Because I felt like, you know, with my own experience as a child, like I played the sports, I did all that and loved it, but I also had other things that I was interested in, and I don't feel like it was welcomed like that. Like it wasn't encouraged. You understand what I mean? It wasn't encouraged. It was almost like wasn't a whole lot to it.
And here's the baffle part. They'll set you up and tell you, man, you know, you shouldn't play the violin, you shouldn't do this, but get out there and hold this pack on this corner and risk your life, your freedom, and your well-being.
How about that? Yeah.
It makes absolute. That's the design they have for us, because here, this like our son can be a violinist who can pay, you know, can be the best one out there.
Right.
But now I say, well, this boy push this rock. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Play basketball, and you're not gonna be the best basketball player.
Fast money.
And you're wasting your time. Right. Everybody's not gonna be a good basketball player. It's just impossible.
No. The chances of a child becoming a professional athlete is lower than the chances of becoming an astronaut. So you have a better chance of becoming an astronaut and landing on the moon than you do and becoming an NFL player. I never understood, and I've mentioned this before on the show, I never understood the emphasis that we put on sports so heavy. I mean, one day, this was a couple years back, I was in back of the Havre de Grace Middle School, right? Now, my hobby is RC cars, so I'm back there running my cars, right? Excuse me. So it happened to be on a Sunday. I didn't know they were having... Excuse me. I didn't know they were having football practice, right? So while I'm back there, all these cars started rolling in. So they were having football practice for like the Pee Wee League, up to like the ages of like 12, I think, right? Within like 10 minutes, I kid you not, it was like over 60 parents out there. You know what I mean? Like I had to pack up my stuff and leave the area because it was just jam-packed. It was parents all over the place, right? And I'm thinking, this is Pee Wee football, right? This is Little League stuff, right? But it saddened me because it was like, if there was a PTA meeting the next day, probably not even 2 of them would show up. But it's over 60 of them. out here, not for a football game, just mere practice. But that's how serious sports are taken amongst black people. And we have no record of people making it in the shit. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's far and few in between. You got to be that one.
How is an average black man making it out the hood?
Right, exactly.
Through sports.
Right.
So therefore, no parent I've seen yet say, I am so proud of my son for getting his college education and becoming a teacher.
Right, none.
Now they up there smiling and giggling when he up there getting his 10, 15, $20 million contract.
He scored 4 touchdowns in Polk High. So the old Al Bundy story.
And he sold shoes for the rest of his life.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
It's the oxymoron with parents nowadays, because no parent, and it's sad where a child can't be himself, like you said. Say, I love spelling. Right. I want to be in a spelling bee.
Right.
For what?
Right.
And a father nowadays, for what? You be in a spelling bee for what?
Right. You
know what I'm saying? He's 6'2". I want to spell, Dad.
Yeah. See?
Get on that court.
Get on that court. You know, get out there and play some football. Go crack some heads. You know what I mean?
And then even the small kids growing up in a family, they get discouraged as well, because all the other family around them is like, why are you doing? Like, why are you in that book? Come on, we all about to do this.
That's what I was talking about.
How come you? So they get discouraged, and that might.
You feel like an outsider.
Yes.
You feel like an outsider.
So even if they want to be a teacher, with everybody saying, "Oh, why you want to be a teacher? What you want to like?" That could just.
Well, I think they would right off the back be like, "They don't make no money. Why you want to be that?"
Yep.
Can't understand that child may have a drive to want to do something for the
just
community.
a dream.
Yeah, a dream. Exactly. Just a dream. Yeah. So I think we gotta pay attention to talents that our kids might have, and if if it happens to fall in that area, whatever, we definitely gotta exploit that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm adamant with my son about that. If he doesn't want to play, you're not. His mother was into sports, and I didn't realize she was into sports that real heavy, but she is. But if he wants to play, cool. If he don't, he's not.
Right. It's one of them type
and
things.
kids will eventually make their own decision. Like with my son, he played the violin in elementary school, played the trumpet in middle school. By the time he got to high school, he played basketball and he played football. But he also knew how to play the violin and trumpet as well. He didn't just know basketball and football.
Right.
He knew a lot of other things as well.
And speaking of violin, I like, and I don't know if you guys seen it on Facebook, but I like now that Facebook be showing these posts of these young black folks playing the violin, but they'll do like hip hop tracks and stuff.
She was one. It was a female did it in the Gucci store.
Right.
Did you catch that?
That's what I'm saying.
You catch that?
So I like that, because I think it's kids looking at that and thinking, finally, somebody's making it cool to play the violin, because that's what they've always wanted to do. So I think that's good. So we're getting a little bit exposure there. You know what I mean? With doing like different instruments and stuff like that. But yeah, we got to somehow figure out a way to encourage some of our kids to go into the field of teaching, because nobody can teach us better than us. You understand what I mean? Nobody can teach us better than
we
us.
Got to break the design though of the finger pointing and the putting down. You know, like for example, you knew this. Keep it at 100.
Right.
Yeah, I come out the neighborhood, come outside. I got my violin on my back.
Right.
Where you about to go?
Oh, you about to get joked.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
You about to get joked.
Why you got that big coat on? Right here under your neck. You walking like this down the street trying to hurry up. Hey man, where you going? You start break out the run. Why is he running? They gonna literally chase you down to figure out what you got, just to laugh at you.
Might even take that violin and break it.
Right. You going back crying. What happened? They done banked me. Yeah, man. They banked me, broke my violin.
The violin with this soft ass.
Yeah, man. You out here all day. You know what I mean? You with a violin. You jump.
That is true. That is true. So it's like, what do you say to your child to help them deal with that? Like, they just jealous, or they don't understand what your future is.
As long as I have breath in my lungs, when my son chooses to take that trial wherever he wants to go, I'm gonna be side by side with him.
Right.
So I hope and pray for the kids out there who test my son.
Right.
I hope and pray for you, because if your father ain't with you, it's gonna be ugly for the both of us. I'm not playing. It's ugly for the both of us.
And that's what I say to you. Just support them.
Yeah. Like my son is a gamer. You understand what I mean? Now my generation, that would have been out of the question.
Absolutely.
If I'd have told my mom, well, Mom, I'm gonna be a gamer, she'd have said, I got a game for your ass.
Right.
You better go up there and clean that room. Go play that game. You understand what I mean?
Or you might got the conversation after the hit.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But being that we learn a little bit more, we're in the information age. So like with my son being a gamer, I don't have a problem with it.
They make good money, actually.
Well, the thing is this. In my day, we would have had to go outside, right? But the kids today are kind of, dangerous and deranged. So the fact that my son spends a lot of his time on his game, and then he's still connected with his social circle because they all doing it together, right? I know where he's at. You know what I mean? He's 21 years old now. He could be somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? He go to work, he come home, he do his game thing. You know what I mean? And my thing is, I definitely support it. I'm the one who introduced him to game consoles. You get what I'm saying? I would be a hypocrite to now be like, you play that game too much. He's looking like, Dad, you the one who got me my first game, right?
Right.
You know, so what I try to encourage him is figure out a way you can make money. So I'm in the process now trying to convince him to start a YouTube channel where he can start, you know, offering some live teachings on certain games that he's proficient at, right? So that's what I want him to know. I don't care what you do. You know what I mean? If you like making bales of hay, I'm just saying figure out a way to get somebody to pay you to do it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And then go ahead and enjoy that.
Don't waste your talent.
Right. Don't waste your talent because I want him to explore anything that he feels he wants to try. Because I think one of the things with us as a people, we get caught up in our little circle and we don't want to do certain things. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I loved baseball, okay? Baseball was my first sport. By the time I got to high school, I'd already transformed into basketball. Football is actually what I played first, but baseball became the favorite. But by the time I got to high school, I didn't play baseball because I thought I was too cool to play baseball. You get what I'm saying? And like the black kids that did play baseball, they wasn't the black kids from the hood. You understand me? So to us, it made sense. Like, oh yeah, of course he plays baseball. Right. You get what I'm saying? But when I look back on it as an adult, like I stripped myself of a love of something I love to do. I love to play baseball, right? So I still play basketball, but still that hood mentality and that fear of the reaction from others, like you said with the violin, it stopped me from going hard on baseball. So I don't want my son to experience that. I want to tell him about my experience and say, look, son, whatever you feel you want to do it.
I'm behind you 150%.
Yeah, don't have no regrets. You know, do it because I think that happens a lot. You know, like our kids be scared to speak on things they into or whatever out of the backlash that's going to come. You know, like, what do you mean you want to be a early childhood teacher? You know what? They don't make no money. You know, you need to do this, you need to do that, and that's probably not a good thing to do.
Yeah, because they get a lot of backlash from their family, and you figure if you're going to get it from your family, you definitely going to get it outside the door. Right. So.
Okay, yeah. So
have to be more encouraging.
We got to be more conscious. We got to be more conscious, right? Okay, so another solution they say is to encourage schools to have more than one black male teacher. To deal with loner's isolation, the district should identify schools with one black male teacher and strongly encourage administrators to hire additional black men. Okay, well, of course that makes sense. I don't think they would do it. You know what I mean? Because like if the school has got one black teacher, that's on purpose.
Yeah.
That's
to them, you have
done
to
by design.
Do what is called fit. You
Come
have to fit.
Come to his classroom whenever they have and other people visit the school. Go see him. Hey, Mr. Johnson, how are you? As you can see, we have a multicultural school. He be the only brother in there.
And it's sad. You have, and like I said, I don't like to pull a race card at times, but it's reality. You have a white woman teaching Spanish. Blows my mind.
That's interesting, right?
Blows my mind. Now, French would be something different, but I remember, but I think she married an individual. I think her name was Miss Estevez.
I remember Miss Estevez. Yeah. I had Miss Estevez my freshman year for Spanish.
Yeah, I had her too.
Yeah, and I had her for English.
And then I had another lady. She was a white lady as well, taught Spanish. I can't remember her name off top. She was up the hall from Mr. Brooks, matter of fact.
Okay.
Mr. Brooks.
I mean, I definitely respect you, you know, not wanting to pull the racial card, you know what I mean? But let me tell you about the Black by the Man radio show. I will pull the racial card and throw that motherfucker at people. You know what I'm saying? I will pull it and throw it. And let me tell you why I say that, right? Because when people say, you know, especially like if a white person says, you know, well, I hate when people, you know, use the racial card. Well, my thing is this. I get it. But it's your card. You put it in the deck. So don't be mad at me for pulling out a card that you put in the deck.
True indeed.
Because the real question is, how did it get in the deck? You know what I'm saying?
True indeed.
And I wouldn't like nobody pulling my card either. So if you feel that I pulled the racial card and it offended you, it's because it's your card. And that's what I'm going to say on that.
Well, so can we get a ding, brother?
Yeah, it's your card. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I didn't want to offend.
No, I get it, brother. I get it. You know what I mean? Yeah, you got to do it the way you do it. You know what I mean? I'm the host, so you know I can go a little harder.
Yes, sir.
I can go a little harder. So yeah, we got to figure out ways to get them interested in becoming black male teachers. And being that we don't have a lot to show them, you know, it's going to be a little work involved with this. You know what I mean? I think we would have to focus on more of the importance of giving back to your community.
Well, maybe we can do this in the near future or somewhere down the line. We can get a bunch of parents together and actually to instill them, like, look, man, it starts with you. It don't start with the teacher, because the teacher, like my mother told me when I was a kid, and it stuck with me over the years. She said the teacher has theirs. You have to get yours.
Right.
So you can do all the fun and all the playing and acting a fool in school. They have their education. You don't.
Right.
So you're wasting your time. You're not wasting their time. You know, they get up every day. It's a paycheck to them.
Right.
They get up every morning, put one shoe on the other, and they go to work and they come home.
That's
you
true.
have to get education.
Yeah,
So
see,
it starts with the parent.
back in the day, I felt like when we was kids, the teachers wanted to be teachers. Like, they didn't do it for prestige. They didn't do it for, of course, they didn't do it for money. You know what I mean? But, like, they wanted to be teachers. They enjoyed helping kids and teaching kids. I don't know if that's always the case today. You understand what I mean? Like, it just doesn't seem like the passion for really, because
Just a
teachers
job.
do things. Yeah, it's like it's just a job. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Today, it has become just a job. You know, and like with me being a barber, I can relate to you not being able to do that. Like, you can't be a barber just to be a job. You know what I mean? Like, a barber's not a job. You can't just say, oh, I'm just going to be a barber. No, it's not that easy. You got to have a skill set. You got to know how to do something, right? So, same with teaching. It should be where, you know, you got something about you. Just like if you want to be a nurse. You should be a caring person. You should be a person that wants to care for people. You should not be trying to be a nurse just because you heard they start off at $60,000 a year. You're not going to be a good nurse. You know what I mean? Because you don't really care about people. You just want that paycheck.
Right.
And there's other ways to get that paycheck. You know, there's compassion involved with certain types of jobs. And I think being a nurse or being a teacher, you know, it's a little bit of passion that you should have with that.
Well, that's what we have to go back to then. People picking their careers because of passion, not because of money.
Yeah,
right
because
now,
the money thing,
choosing careers because of
the money thing ain't good. That's not good at all. So yeah, we got to get back to teaching our children. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to take us to start physically speaking with our children about the possibilities of becoming a teacher. You know? Are we on our last segment here? Is this the wrap up? All right, we on the wrap up. Breaker 1 now. So anyway, I love this topic. You know, we'll have
It is what it is. Radio show.
All right, listen. All right, say situation. Cause I keep telling y'all, it's different situations in the child support thing. You can't just pinpoint one thing. You can't just say, "Oh, here did be. That's why you're on child support. Oh, he this. That's why you're on child support. Oh, she this. That's why she on child support." No, sometimes it could just go off of, "Oh, I just called him and asked him, can he pay for the pictures? He ain't want to pay for the pictures. I'm taking his ass downtown." Yup.
Well, you got to know. Know who you dating.
Hold up.
You just like
I just called her. I just called her and asked could she just get Junior some shoes. She couldn't even get him no church shoes. I'm taking her ass downtown. Now, when you go downtown, you go down there, you get $500. Right. Now you mad because you get $500, and now you really ain't getting no shoes for Junior or Lord CC. Because you're getting $500 now. Right.
Yeah, but you got to remember, if you're a good father or a good mother, and you're paying child support, right, you still going to go ahead and do all that. Because
hold up.
It's just what it is.
Yeah, hold on. And that's another situation.
Right.
But you know what that creates? Now when we at the party, mommy and daddy ain't even down there speaking to each other. Cause daddy done paid for the party, and he done came out of pocket this month with $600.
But right, that's your child.
Be mad.
Listen. He shouldn't be mad, but he also has another child with his wife.
That's on him.
Okay,
go ahead.
He got another child with his wife.
Okay.
Right? And you're taking away from him. And they taking away
Well, he should have kept it in his pants.
Exactly.
Should have kept it in his pants. Stop complaining. Stop complaining. Stop complaining.
You on some whole, he on some whole other shit over here.
Hey everybody, check out what you missed on the one and only Be Inspired radio show.
I'm just thankful this year I've dealt with, some some growing pains, and I've overcome some things, and I've also, you know, accomplished some things in the process. I've learned some things. Like, I've learned, I learned that everybody loves your work until they got to pay for it. That's what That's what I learned. I learned everybody loves what you do.
The pay?
I mean,
not always.
Listen, the Bible says money answereth all things.
Wow.
Okay, and there is a place. There is a place where finances is necessary. And when you got kids and when you got a wife and then you doing everything and you know you top dog at what you do, especially when you weren't in the same place you, like with this radio show, you ain't in the same place you were a year ago. Should nobody be coming on the show and not donating to your show?
Can you say that on my show?
Should nobody be coming to your show?
Can you say that in the middle of the live?
Make that a promo, please.
Should nobody come on this show without donating?
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, so we're back, everybody, but we are at the end of our show. So we want to take time out to thank everybody for tuning in and hanging out with us on the Black by the Man radio show. We appreciate the comments that were made today. It is pleasing to us to see how many people participated, because that means you guys have a concern for the absence of black male teachers just like we do. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Please support us. Please go to blackbytheman.com. You can sponsor the radio show by going to BeExposedRadio.com. We need all the help we can to keep this going. We want to continue to bring you black media and try to educate, stimulate, and have constructive conversations. So I want to say thank you to my guest, Miss Janice McCaffity. Also, my brother, Derek Woodson. I thank y'all for sitting in with me and chopping it up a little bit. And this, too, may be another show that we might have to revisit. You know what I mean? Speak again, we can get some teachers here. So until then, again, I thank everybody for tuning in. This is your boy, brother Mike, Black by the Man radio show. And, man, I'll catch y'all on the flip side. You already know. The black side. Peace.
Just a Bit Outside radio show.
You use Tearless baby shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes.